All right, nerds, let's not waste too much time. Hold on a second. Immediately proceeds to waste time because I forgot to do a thing. Completely forgot to do a thing, please and thank you. Okay.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't spread over every egg.
Do you feel better? Okay, you just blew yourselves up again. Come on. Come on.
All right.
Okay, now you're just bullying yourself with bricks.
No, miss.
All right, I'll wait. I'll play the waiting game. Here, we'll just, we'll just... All right, go ahead. Any more? Anybody else need him? Hi, Rye. Because you want me to still get Armstrong, nerd? Yeah, but you're in my house. Press all the buttons. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, get your energy out. I'll play the waiting game. Hi, Kafka. What are you scribbling about, Kafka? What are you scribbling about? I'm doing my part. I didn't do anything. I didn't do shit. Oh, God. What is that emote? Ew. I don't like that emote. I don't like that emote even a little. Squats. Squats. Oh, man. Everyone bullying poor Beef? Okay, but it's funny. It's fine. Beef is a big, strong boy. Beef can handle it. Well, Beef is a skeleton. Maybe big and strong wasn't the way to put this. Sturdy boy? Sturdy boy. We're gonna go with sturdy boy. Sugar, how are you doing, bud? And the Hapu emote? Aww. Aww, you Hapu. Wait, what is that one? The bird one? I hadn't seen that emote. Hi, Pippin. He doesn't rattle easily? I have heavy regrets I don't have a drum roll, sound redeem, or sound alert. Cause goddamn. Hi, Driskin, how are you doing? I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. It's just Tuesday. I've only been awake like 2 hours-ish. I was up late last night. I got sucked into reading a book and was up way too late.
There's our man. There's our boy.
'Tis true, Beef is ripe for the puns. Oh my god. Also, why is that? Oh, that's Rummy's brick emote. It's so dainty. It just slowly raises the brick and then slowly tosses it. That's cute. Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday, isn't it? Messing on starships in Avorian. What is Avorian? I don't know that game. I usually know a lot of spaceship games because I like spaceship games. All right, hold on a second. Well, actually, was this one that you recommended at some point, or was that somebody else? Oh, okay. It's kind of a... Oh, it's a sandbox game. Huh. Okay. But it looks like you only get to play as, like, the ship itself after you build it. Jesus Christ, somebody built an aircraft carrier in this game. Okay. Meanwhile, Mirren is super fast. How fast? I'm just chucking that brick. That brick needs to get from my hand to the person's face as fast as possible. Avoiding this dick. All right, somebody shoot Void. You know something that's funny about your name, Void, is I literally can't read it. I just know it's you. Here, chat. I'm gonna show you on my end real quick. Oh, then I gotta sneeze. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me grab the thingamazoohickey there. And then I'll make it really big-ish. There it is. There's Void. That's what Void looks like on my end. Is Tokyo haunted again? Tokyo's haunted. The entirety of Tokyo is haunted. Like, you can barely tell that's Void's name. No, Melissa, no uppies. Nobody gets uppies around here. The only uppies you get is being flung straight either out of a cannon or up on the trapeze. So help me God. Void looks like a Void on brands. Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, Void is also the only one who, like, has that color. Otherwise, y'all be fucked. Y'all would be fucked if everyone else had that color. I'd just be like, all right, I don't know who you are, but yeah, I'll respond to your chats. And before immediately everybody that can change their color just starts changing it to the gray. Ugh. How could you? How could you? We could do the funniest thing right now. Oh. I mean, the brick isn't an uppies to hell. Is it uppies or is it down? Confusing mods, are we? Huh? Hi, let's see how we're gonna be playing Ghostfire shortly. Oh my goodness. What about the tightrope and a pencil skirt? Easy peasy, baby. Pencil skirt doesn't add any difficulty to tightroping. You gotta keep your legs as close together as possible anyway. But, chat, I need to ask. How did y'all like yesterday? Answer the question, answer honestly. This will not change my opinion of anything. I like playing Outlast Trials with the homies. I just want to know if y'all had fun. I can customize so many things. Ooh. This trip was fun? Yeah, you enjoyed taking your clothes off, didn't you, you fucking slut? Didn't you, Sunstar? Because you're a whore. Anyway. That's better. I like being close. I like being close to you, chat. Just so I can, you know, do a little bit of a just, come here, motherfuckers! Yes. Yes. Anyway. Hi, Hollow, how are you doing? Weird, what the fuck is that message? Like, are we Murlocs? God, I hope we're not Murlocs. How many times have I died to Murlocs in WoW Hardcore? Aww. Hi, Mando, how are you doing? Freaking got you, bitches. You're mine now. Time to strip in Tokyo, chat? Why are you can't strip in? Okay, well, technically we're the last man alive. Okay, so maybe you can strip in Tokyo. Let's make a joke when you said a whore. A whore. POV man coming to get you. Holy shit. Thank you for the giant emotes. Just sliding on in. Who's going to stop me? All right, if I see penis, I'm tearing off penis. I'm just letting you know. And none of you better make a fucking, oh, new bottom surgery just dropped joke. Because so help me God if you do. I'll start blasting. Go threaten with a good time. The Schmeats? Well, yeah, of course I did, because y'all have one joke. Okay, y'all have like 6 jokes, but that's besides the point. Been single 6 years. I am a human dry spell, not a whore. I mean, welcome to the club. I haven't dated anyone since 2018. Granted, I don't give a shit. I don't want to date anyone. My ass does not give a shit about relationships. My self-worth is not portrayed by romantic relationships. I will cry if I have no friends, though. I will cry very hard. Taryn Peen in the carnival. It's not the first time, and it's definitely not. How did y'all start a hype train? Oh, the giant emote in Imbecilist Rex, which thank you for the Bezos bucks. Remember, chat, if you don't spend your Bezos bucks, Jeff Bezos gets to keep your money. Damn, who's gonna relay this news to the wives? The wives are perfectly platonic, please and thank you. Especially considering some of the wives have husbands. I know that this desperate sluts in the area have a mirror. It's a situation of like, this is my wife and this is my wife's wife. But the wives leave you alone on Day of Love? I don't give a shit about Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is nothing more than a consumerism holiday meant to essentially force people in certain industries to fund special events so that you feel obligated to spend more amounts of money. Otherwise, there's no holiday in February. There's no holiday in February. They had to convince somebody in a row. Let me think here. Okay, so what holidays do we have all in a row? We have Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. And then February is a blank slate. And then March is March Easter or is Easter later? I don't remember for sure. St. Patrick's? Oh yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Lunar New Year? Lunar New Year is really only important for like, is it all Asian countries or is it just Chinese? I don't actually know. Does anybody know? President's Day? President's Day is more of like a federal-ish holiday. Bank holiday. Okay, it is most of Asia. Okay, I wasn't sure. April is Easter. Okay, I got you. I was off. Can we count Mardi Gras as the holiday? Mardi Gras is kind of a holiday. It just depends on where you live. And if you're religious. All the President's Bank / school holidays are February. Yes, but no, I'm talking about in terms of holidays where people start spending money. People spend money for Halloween, candy, costumes, all the various industries that come and go only for like that month. Thanksgiving, again, certain food industries basically rely on Thanksgiving to get almost all of their fun. You think people are eating turkey all year round that isn't like a deli turkey? Fuck no. Thanksgiving fucking snowballs the entire turkey industry. Is Mardi Gras the atheist Xmas? No. Mardi Gras is a Christian holiday. It's Fat Tuesday. You'll know that, right? Please tell me you'll know Mardi Gras is on Fat Tuesday. Yeah, it's a Christian holiday. The celebration thing is like carnival type stuff is very much a like Southern kind of thing. It's very much a like big celebration, big feast, big party, big party in the streets for everyone to enjoy. Fat Tuesday is I'm terrible at this. This is what happens when I was raised Catholic and haven't been to church since I was like 16. Fat Tuesday is essentially breaking, I believe, the week where you begin to break for Lent. I'm pretty sure. And then Good Friday is the following Friday. So it's Fat Tuesday, Ash Wednesday. I don't think Thursday is anything. And then Good Friday. We eat as much meat before Lent. That makes sense. I mean, does your family do the like, do they actually devote to the, I'm brain farting. Do they actually devote to the whole, don't eat meat the entirety of Lent? Or do you do the lazy Catholic thing and like most denominations in America where they only skip meat on Fridays? I need to know. I need to know. Oh, I'm sorry. I did miss the self-care. Ashley Wednesday? No, Ash Wednesday. You know what? Are we learning this together today, Chan? Is it time to learn about the Holy Week? Here, let's do this together. Let's find all the descriptions and reasons for the Christian Holy Week. All right, Palm Sunday. Maundy Thursday, what is that? All right, hold on. Holy Week, Wikipedia page, we'll do that. Commemorates the 7 days leading up to Easter, begins with the commemoration of Christ's triumphant entry into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, marks the betrayal of Jesus on Spy Wednesday, aka Holy Wednesday, climaxing with the commemoration of the Last Supper on Maundy Thursday or Holy Thursday, and the Passion of Jesus on Good Friday. Holy Week concludes with Christ's death and the descent into hell on Holy Saturday. For all Christian traditions, it is a movable observance. In Eastern Christianity, which also calls it the Great Week, it is the week following the Great Lent and Lazarus Saturday, starting in the evening of Palm Sunday and concluding on the evening of Great Saturday. No, not Monty. Maundy. Maundy. Holy Week is the 6th and last week of Lent, beginning with Palm Sunday and concluding Holy Saturday. Okay, can I find, like, goodness, the specific days? There they are. Holy Week begins with Palm and Passion Sunday. Traditionally, Palm Sunday commemorates triumphant entry into Jerusalem, described in all 4 canonical Gospels. But what do you do for this day? Have a blessing of palm leaves or branches, for example, olive branches. The blessing ceremony includes the reading of a gospel account of Jesus humbly riding into Jerusalem on a donkey, reminiscent of a Davidic victory procession. Okay, I do remember Palm Sunday. I was usually forced to go to church on Sundays, so I do remember the Sunday events. All right, Holy Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, aka Holy Monday, Fig Tuesday, and Spice Wednesday. Okay. Holy Monday observes liturgy may include cursing the fig tree, cleansing of the temple, authority of Jesus questioned, and the anointing of Jesus. What? Substitute my own, it's now Monty Thursday forevermore. Monty Python Thursday? Is when we get to watch Monty Python guilt-free. Are y'all watching Monty Python with guilt? How do you watch Monty Python with guilt? You know, I should have my glasses for these. This is important. We're learning things here. Okay, hold on. Oh, here it is. The story of Judas arranging his betrayal of Jesus with the chief priest is remembered. He is a spy among the disciples of Jesus. For this reason, the day is sometimes called Spy Wednesday. Okay. I thought this was Ash Wednesday. I guess I was way off. Maybe somebody corrected me and I totally missed it. All right, now what the fuck is Maundy Thursday? Commemorates the Last Supper, where Christ lays out the model for the Eucharist or Holy Communion. During the meal, Jesus predicts the events that would immediately follow, including his betrayal, the denial of Peter, and his death and resurrection. Okay. Catholic and Lutheran parishes traditionally practice the foot washing, aka the Maundy ceremony, on Maundy Thursday, a practice also kept in other denominations. You know, I think I only partook in that once ever. Once ever. Did you ever celebrate Three Kings Day? Nope. Not to my memory. I was gonna say it's Monty Python. Yeah, why be ashamed of whimsy and comedy? Peak comedy, even. All right, hold on. Let's see. Is there anything? I think we're gonna have to look up Fat Tuesday, because Fat Tuesday. Oh, it's before Lent. I'm an idiot. Duh. Okay, it's the beginning of Lent. I'm stupid. Mardi Gras, also known as Shrove Tuesday or Fat Tuesday, is the final day of Carnival. known as Shrovetide or Fastelavn. It thus falls on the day before the beginning of Lent on Ash Wednesday. Mardi Gras is French for Fat Tuesday, referring to it being the last day of consuming rich, fatty foods, most notably red meat, in preparation for the Christian fasting season of Lent, during which such foods are avoided. Mancy did not stink. How dare you until their ringleader's tootsies. Mods disintegrate that man. What? Ken Goldie, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you doing? While watching compete sounds like fun. Oh my god. Related popular practices are associated with carnival celebrations before the fasting and religious obligations associated with the penitential season of Lent. In countries such as the United Kingdom, Mardi Gras is more usually known as Pancake Day or traditionally Shrove Tuesday, derived from the word shrive, meaning to administer the sacrament of confession to or to absolve. But yeah. All right. Wait, I missed it. Somebody was talking about that their family like does Lent and they like eat meat before Lent starts and stuff. And then I asked, do they like do the devotion where they don't eat meat the entire Lent season, or Pancake Day is religious? Yeah. It's the Tuesday before Lent. Before the Christian like fasting season that they have made very weak. Christians are weak. They should devote to the full fasting season without exemptions or rules. Give up something you don't want. Don't eat it at all. And don't eat meats. Capiche? Do we understand? Actually, hold on. I just realized something. Let me check something real quick. Okay, never mind. They need the fish sandwich. The thing is, like, even then, it's not even just fish sandwich. Oh yeah, there's tons of religious holidays. Tons. Tons. Has a tradition of putting coins wrapped in tinfoil cooked into the pancakes. That's an interesting tradition. Is it the same case as like king cakes? So if anybody doesn't know what a king cake is, it's usually a ring-shaped, sometimes frosted, sometimes not cake, that has a little ceramic baby baked into it. Following inconvenient rules defeats the purpose of conquering the world for money. Come on, Mary. Okay, listen, you're right. You're right. You're totally right. They would rather loophole themselves rather than actually convey to the actual meanings of the religions that they claim to follow. Not a kind cake, a king cake. Here, give me a second. Let me get you a picture of a king cake. King cake. I'd like some pound cake. Let's go with... No. What good picture? We'll just do this one. It's a web pay! Of course it is. Of course it is. Maybe this one? Okay, it's a JPEG. That's good enough. Good enough. And of course, it's a huge picture. And then let me move. There's the king cake. It can be made a bunch of different ways. It's usually a pretty like cinnamony cake, sprinkles, sugar, etc., all on top. Sometimes it has icing like you see on this one. Sometimes it doesn't. But usually there is a like ceramic baby baked into the cake. No, it's not. That just came to mind. That was me stimming. I'd like some pound cake. It's very good. It's so popular in some places like outside of like Louisiana and stuff where it was usually like more traditional. That it's at my supermarket. My supermarket sells king cakes now. Which actually, Chance, do you know what today is? No way. No way, no way, no way, no way, no way. Oh my God, it is. Today's Mardi Gras. Oh my God, it's Fat Tuesday. I literally looked at the date when I looked it up a second ago and it didn't register what today was. Something I'd like to try is Australian fairy bread. You mean the butter and sprinkles bread? Yeah, baby, it's fucking Mardi Gras, dude. That means you'll need to go eat a bunch of meats. I mean, just, it's time to go get fat. It's time to go get fat, baby. Also, hold on, this just reminded me, is my favorite Cajun place open? This is important. This is very important. Shit, no, they're not open till tomorrow. Why aren't they open on Mardi Gras? I'm 30 pounds down, non-fat for me. Listen, that's completely fair, but it's one day. You can cheat for one day. I'm having steak today. Hell yeah. Getting fat on this meat, buying breads. Let's go. It doesn't even necessarily have to be that. You can just get like the big savory meats and stuff, or have some big fatty pancakes. Is open on Fat Tuesday? True. The thing is though, is that they're not usually open on Tuesday at all. I think they're closed like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I think is their usual close time. Eating meat flash to eating your mom clip? Yes, but I'm actually eating your mom and baking her. A la Hannibal Lecter style. I've encased her thigh in clay. She'll be most tender for dinner tonight, chat. Would you care to join me? I'll eat what I want. I'm Jewish. I have more than enough restrictions that I don't follow. I was about to say, I was like, do you follow them? And so I was also like, I'll eat whatever I want. And then I read, I'm Jewish. And then before reading the next sentence, I was like, there's already a lot of restrictions on that right there, champ. Are you sure that's what you want to say? I forget, you still can't eat pork, can you? Judaism forbids pork too, right? Which I think technically Christianity does too, as well as shellfish. But you know how Christianity is. My mom is ash right now. I think I overcooked her. Jesus Christ, Mando. Why did you put her in the oven for that long? This is why the math of like the person who's like, if I put it in at 100 or not like 100, like 300 degrees for 10 minutes, I'll have really good cookies. So if I put it in for 600 degrees, then I'll have cookies in 5 minutes. And it's like, no, 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 no. If I bake my mom's meats at 100 degrees for 6 hours, then I'll have delicious meat. Or 200, we'll do 250 degrees, 250 degrees. But if I do it at 750 degrees, it'll be done in 2 hours. Just turn it to ash. Rabbi, I ate pork. How could you? Something, two different fabrics? Oh no, it's mixed fabrics. Mixed fabrics. Lots of reasons to tell your rabbi why you're a sinner. I mean, you're probably right. This stream in and of itself is, haram against every religious book ever written, except maybe like the Bhagavad Gita. Blast the oven to 450 and hope for the best? That's too high if you're just cooking low and slow. Pastor Marin, I'm sitting in the carnival. I'm so proud of you, Beef. I'm so proud of you. Questionable? Which part? Which part? I mean, this is all fats. Okay, maybe it's not all fats. Shut up. I have powerful thighs, okay? My last confession was in 2004. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. My last confession was 2011? 2011, I think. Oh, I am long. I do go on and on and on and on. Anyway, I'm too long and we're changing that next time. We're getting better proportions. I feel like I'm 2/3 legs, which also means 2/3 of the model is off screen. Damn. Plus, I didn't get any of the fucking like muscles and shit that I wanted. All that got fucked, as you know. Long Madden. Anyway. 2011, that's not much. I haven't spoken to a rabbi since at least 2002. If you say so. Yeah, but I would be single digits in 2002. Not thick enough? We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I don't want to be known or just have the brand as like, damn, those are huge. I'd much rather have cool designs. These? Little too big. Little too big on most days. Which is probably why I turn on the arm cross so often. We're not busting out the green model. Green model. Are you talking about the Kuro model? Denied me a scholarship even though I was a member of the congregation because I went to a non-local high school? Turned me away from the entire fight altogether? What a bunch of assholes. Gotta get the bear and go flat back in there. That's what I want to do with the summer outfit, is I want to make the model be able to have like flat, small, medium, and then just kind of whatever size I want. I want to have those toggles again. I miss them. Plus, it's fun taking them away from you. You get nothing. Good day, sir. Good day, I said. All right. All art must be stick figure now? No, that is not what I'm saying. Runs off with the babs? Neko, you can't have those. You can't even carry them. I can only carry these because I don't have a spine. All right, Wheel of Punishment. Please don't be a workout. 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 I clicked the wrong thing. I'm kind of hoping it's Chef's Club, weirdly. No. Fuck. That is a 1.5 minute wall sit. And I now owe y'all 40 squats because, god damn it, Bob, eat pants. All right. I guess I'll do the squats first because then I don't have to like get away from the desk. Take them away from you so it's you code for Konotomo. No, absolutely not. No way in hell. Don't ever say that again. Pants? What the do you mean pants? Squats to air sit? Perfect? That sucks. All right, I owed somebody a squat from the beginning of stream and then somebody just redeemed squats again. So let's do this. No strip, but eat your pants, make up your minds. What? Wait, did I say eat your pants? I thought somebody said pants. Did I say eat your pants? Huh. She said 5 seconds ago? Yeah, I'm hoping it's not early onset dementia, but we'll see. All right, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I did, yeah. Eat your fucking pants. All right, what was that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 9, 40. Okay. I have concerns for your memory. It's getting worse. I know it's getting worse. Now we have to add another reason to the list if Baron ever stops streaming. Listen, it's that or colon cancer or something like that. Let me see here. Before I do the wall sit, what I'm gonna do is set up the iPad time just so that, let me see here. Oh, I'm still not out of the way enough. Okay. What was that? 40 and hold? Yeah, why was that deleted? Nah, because we gotta do the wall sit. I thought it was air sit. I mean, we can try air sit. Let's see. Air sit would be easier because then I can actually do it in front of the desk. Whew. Oh, what is this? Oh, hey! I got an email from the Future Games Showcase. Oh, they want me to co-stream it. Okay. What time is it? 12th of March. Wait, they don't have a time. Huh. Is the Future Game Showcase early in the day or is it later? I thought the emo was the holding. That explains a lot. Oh my god, you dork. But yeah, if it's earlier in the day, I can do early, no problem. If it's later in the day, that's when I'm concerned. All right. Wait, when is the 12th? What day is the 12th? That's a Thursday. Okay. Probably should email them. It's no big deal. I can do it after stream. I left it open purposely on my phone so that next time I open it, it'll be there. Trick or treat. Hi, queens. All right, let me get the timer. Whew. I'll go ahead and turn this on for y'all. Okay. That's the timer. And then I need a minute and a half, which is already on my phone. Okay. All right, let's try and do this. And then we're just gonna hold. Okay. Whew. I think the goofy thing is this holds me almost right at the perfect height to keep streaming. Oh my god. Okay, this is worse than the wall sit. Whew. Oh my god. 30 seconds down. 1 minute to go. Oh my god. As long as you're comfortable. This is not comfortable. No part of this is comfortable. I'm also slipping. All right, 35 seconds. Oh, Jesus. Okay, hold on. Okay. 20 more seconds. Oh, I get thigh strings. Yes! Oh my god. What do you want from me? Oh my god, you dork. Okay. Come back here, chair. Okay. Okie dokie. That was actually near perfect timing. Awesome, I can actually turn this thing back on. Should have done that before we started the thing. But oh well. Oh well indeed. Sunstar share the matches. Sunstar's just goated. Just get good, dude. Not only is Sunstar beating your butt at iPad time, but Sunstar's also beating your butt at fishing. Come on, Beef, you gotta catch up. Come on. Plus 40 squats in the shower? Why in the shower? Why in the shower? That's how accidents happen. Oh my goodness. All right. Chat, are we ready to get into the game? Are we ready to pick up where we left off for like 15 minutes before we have to have an ad break again? That damn bot hacker of yours? Sunstar doesn't use bots for games.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't bread over every egg.
I guess that makes sense. I could also understand spending a lot of time in the shower because, like, I have a tankless water heater, so I don't really run out of hot water ever. Although sometimes it's finicky. Sometimes it'll randomly get cold in the middle of a shower, and then I just have to turn it off and back on. One of those rain showers? Oh, the bougie shower. I see how it is. Damn spontaneous MGS messages? I'm guessing that's messages. Also, hold on a second. Okay. To make ends meet, and I missed my tankless water heater? No! Oh, man. Metal Gear Solid Revengeance? Okay. Oh, damn, spontaneous Revengeance? As in Armstrong? Hey, I don't have a bathtub, and when I get my own place, I said, fuck it, I'm gonna get a boozy shower? Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. That's one way to do it. That's a good way to do it. That's actually a really good way to do it. All right, let's do this. Let me put the music away, turn the volume up a little bit, go back to my little game corner, and let's go fight Ghost Chat. Let's just see. Let me know how the volume is, if I need to turn it up, if I need to turn it down. So last time we were on, we had like taken a pause to... I think we had just done, yeah, all this shrine and like one of the missions. Let's go do the side missions. And by side missions, of course, I mean, give me your fucking souls. Oh, it was you that I heard. I was like, what the hell is that sound? Oh no, there's the big guy. It happens. We found the fat man.
Again? Vods with a big hit!
Nope. Ah, God damn it. There's my fire. Oh, Jesus.
You're out of ether. Find sweet. Fill back up.
Run, bitch, run! Oh, there's a schoolgirl. I did run into one, I guess. She was like, what's your bathtub? My response was, I don't want to drown, so I don't have one. Wait, do you not like bathtubs? Oh man, I wanted to see if I can go up there. Come on, climb up. Oh, god damn it. Jesus. It is weird in this game that that interacting with the ladder is a required click. So you do end up with like really annoying gliding moments like that.
Still out there.
Oh.
You're getting tougher by the minute.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh, that's just one of the blue aether crystals. Wait, we're at the beginning of the game and there's already... Okay, hold on. So this is useful, but... This... Affliction.
I'm gonna use your body.
So I remember these not showing up until forever later in the game. So maybe that's changed with some of the newer stuff? I think it's also weird that like the blue crystals are already showing up because... Again, I don't remember these things showing up this early in the game. Oh, hey. We missed a Jizo statue. I just fall asleep easy in them? Oh. Yeah, that can happen. I mean, you could get stuff that keeps yourself from like sinking in. Does this work besides having a way to be a Bethesda stealth archer? I mean, do you want to be a Bethesda stealth archer? I mean, you can be a mage. You can kind of assassinate characters and play stealth the entire time if you want. Which I actually do kind of like the stealth mechanics in this game. They're kind of fun. Okay. Oh, I hear a dog. Oh, it's a water Jizo statue. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, why did it look blue? Aha!
What's that?
Shashi Hoko statues. A pair of statues depicting the Shashi, an imaginary animal. Dragonfish? Is that what that is? So I've only just noticed that there's actually random buildings that you can go into this playthrough. I've played this game through twice. Oh, there's the dog I heard. Hey, buddy. All right, we'll give him food.
You were hungry.
Never played with this game that doesn't include stealth archer build? True, this game does in fact have stealth archer build. And, I'm not even joking, later on it'll be obligatory. It'll be 100% necessary. Okay, that's actually the same arcade thing. Money! Thanks, buddy. Okay. Oh, there's the rain. Oh, right. I was gonna go look for other side missions. So... Are there other ones? Or is that the... Oh, okay, there's another one up here. And then we'll go do that shrine afterwards. All the way back there. Fine, fine, fine. How is this game anyway? I love this game! Uh-oh. Okay, so these are spontaneous events.
Spirits getting dragged on.
They literally just spawn if you go past the area that they're in. Stick it, stick it, stick it.
That's the way.
And if you don't do them, then you lose out on the chance of getting the spirits that they have. They're also the best way to...
About saving souls is easy.
They give the most amount of spirits in the game. But yeah, in the title I put this as my favorite. I think it's my favorite or the best. I think it's both. This is the biggest Japanese horror game that I've ever played. It has like the largest area, the most amounts to do.
Pretty desolate here for Shibuya.
Oh, okay. This is where we learn about the. Hey, player.
That's a karakasa kozo. Old umbrellas, other tools. They can turn into yokai sometimes.
I see it sometimes, but it brings here. And it runs away when it sees me. Can it be a regular umbrella again, mister? Is it too late?
Damn, the Dark Carnival game
Don't
gotta
worry.
be in Japan then? I never
We got
said that. Plus, the Dark Carnival's a pocket dimension.
There! That's the Karakaza Kozo.
Stay back and wait for a chance. You'll be gone if it spots you.
Yeah. I did need to get the sneak speed upgrade because this sucks.
Now, low and quiet.
He's gonna start moving again. Oh no! Oh, I clicked left click instead of right click. That was almost bad. Okay. All right, now give me these souls.
It's back to a normal umbrella. Let's take it to the girl.
I'm doing good, player. I'm playing one of my favorite games of all time. Listen, I've considered doing things that are like having a design or having an outfit, because almost every VTuber does that kind of shit, where they just tie themselves or theme themselves in some sort of like Japanese way. And I could not convince myself to do that. As much fun as it would be, to my mind, it's a way more cringe than it's worth.
Sometimes I see it.
I just think something's spicy and I have no clue what it was. They might actually be dying. Oh, I didn't grab the umbrella. I'm an idiot. Do the retrieval quest. Forgets to retrieve. It's getting scratchy. This is bad. Go drink some water.
Thank you, mister. I can...
Breaking away from the norms? Smo? What do you mean? Why would I ever
she'll
want to be normal?
Really happy.
So being in leather jackets works? Okay, true, but it's not blatantly Japanese. Okay. Hey, groceries. Yummy. All right, so that one was easy. That was basically just like our introduction to cryptid crisps. Basically those umbrellas. Now we'll be able to find them around later to get more Megatamas. Gross. Horrifying. Horrifying even. These are just keywords? Huh. What did I miss here? Oh, the shrine request and the stuff that we picked up and read earlier. Okay. Oh, wait, I have skill points. I must spend the skill points. Faster sneaking. Although I probably should actually be putting some points into these. Maybe. Mayhaps.
Hey, that's not...
Okay. Let's go find... There it is. Do we have a fast travel? Tanuki graffiti. I've never seen graffiti in this game. That must have come with the update too. Yes, we'll fast travel and then we'll run. So do you have a day and nighttime period or just night? It's technically, I think in this game, timeline-wise, it takes place over a single night. Damn it. Japanese calendar, Kanazuki, 10th month of traditional Japanese lunar calendar, middle character of the kanji. Sound instead of its meaning should be nothing to write home about except that while the pronunciation should mean month of the gods, the kanji themselves read the month without gods. Further complicating this is the fact that it is the month that Shinto gods are said to convene in the Uzumo Tashi shrine. So it can both be interpreted either as the gods coming together for this month or as the gods leaving their usual homes, thus making it a month when they are absent. Huh. So in this game, it either, if I remember correctly, everything takes place in a single night. Oh, there's corruption down there. Kerboom. Oh, she didn't even turn around. Oh, now I get the tutorial for the red aether crystals.
Hurry and finish him.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's like, is this guy coming at me or? Okay. Need to grab this other one. We'll head this direction later. I think. Oh, more corruption. Oh, you're literally just on the ground. Huh. Oh, ad break. Ding donk, ding donk. All right. Let me get y'all this. And I'm going to leave y'all with that and the city pop. And I'm going to scamper for a second because I'm getting a bit peckish. I'm going to go find a snack to nibble on. I have some dates. Kind of want the dates. All right. I'll be back in a bit. All right, chat. I have a query, if you will, a question, or at least something interesting that happened to me. Less of a question. So I mentioned earlier I was reading a book last night, and it was not one of the novels that I have. I got sucked into reading fan content of a TTRPG, specifically just like homebrew stuff. And one of the books I was reading it used like real pictures. Okay, it used real pictures in the book that then the person would like draw their things into. I do have the new book. I'm like 4 chapters into the new book beat. It's really good. It's really good. But that was not what I was doing last night. And one of the pictures in this book, I'm not even joking, is less than 5 miles from me. I saw the picture, went, wait a goddamn second. I know exactly where that shit is. And I was like, what the fuck? Does that mean the person who made this like lives in the area? By the way, this was if anybody wants to know what TTRPG it was, it's Kane by the same artist who made Malagast and Kill 6 Billion Demons, the webcomic. So, and it was fan content that I was reading, like people's like homebrew stuff. Gotta go read that in front of the building? No. The thing is too, is it's nothing special. It's nothing special. It's not like it's a famous building or anything. It's literally in a gas station parking lot. No, it's not spelled like that. It's an acronym. I don't remember what the acronym stands for, but it's KAIM. No E. But it was a PDF. It was a PDF that I was reading. I think that artist lives in my state. Huh. It's not just in my state. They live in my town. Because it's at this angle where I'm just like, now hold on a goddamn second. It's in case you want to know what Kane is about, you play an exorcist in like, basically think SCP. Think Eldritch Horror meets SCP. And you are like one of the task forces. Think of it that way. Time to get them to put merit in the TTRPG. Oh no. Oh no. Listen, if somebody made me as a virtue in Kane, that'd be fucking sick. That'd be fucking sick. All right, let's put this away and let's get back to the game. Turn off the city pop. Excellent. All right. Now where the fuck are we going? Okay, yeah, we have to go this way because there's fog everywhere. Why does this? This was not what I was looking for, but my eye was drawn to this for some reason. And it looks like it's just cool set dressing instead of... Never mind, spooky soon. Damn it. Damn it. Give me the kitty. Well, I guess I'm still heading in the right direction. Coincidentally. I hear voices. Wait. Oh, okay, no, that's just a crystal. Okay. Got nervous there for a second. Thought that was an in-game mob for a split second. I was like, you shouldn't be here. Could grow facial. Could you style and shave or shave completely? I don't care for facial hair. Behind it? Love it. Stairs, 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 stairs. It's the never-ending staircase. Give me that. So look at the front of this building. That's kind of cool. Oh, I know this mission. Hey, chat, you want to go to a love hotel?
Something strange about the fourth floor of this hotel.
I'm sure it's totally fine. Totally fine. How you doing, bud?
Years ago, I took on a repair job for this place. At
Will
the
there be
time,
women there? No,
I
Angel. I know you're afraid of women. It's okay. It's okay.
tried to ask the owner what was up. I couldn't get a hold of him.
Man with the little lampshade. What do you mean lampshade?
He just disappeared. Then,
Spirit Thread Japan? You VHS. Are you okay, bud? Are you okay? Hi, Kono. Hi, Kono. Welcome to my favorite game on the planet that I demand to have a sequel for. Otherwise,
They said it was the fourth floor that was weird.
Why do we even need to come in here?
I don't remember that him being there before. Excuse me, coming through. Oh, hello. Stealing your snacks. Inar sushi. Ooh, tofu skins with rice inside. Has anybody had those? I see them at the conveyor belt sushi, but I've never tried them. You know, I'm scared of them. It saved me so much trouble of explaining. What am I okay? That's a better question. Oh, thank the Lord, you know I'm scared. Listen, you're doing your best, okay? Now this is
Let's
a
just see if we can find anything of interest.
fairly simple mission, which is basically go here,
This
go
wall,
here.
It feels off.
Yeah, because there's supposed to be a door here. And instead we get this fat
yokai.
bastard.
A Nurikabe must have been hiding the room.
Ugh. Oh god, he has toes. How do you get in there, buddy?
Let's check things out.
Cat noises. Look at how tiny that little bench is. Man's note, I'm just going to keep the picture here for now so I can admire it. It just disturbed my family if I brought it home anyway. This way I gaze upon her for as long as I want. All the little troubles of life just seem to melt away when I do. One of these days I'm going to sell this hotel and travel with her. I guess I fell asleep. Strangely, there's no door anymore. All I can see now are walls. What's going on? I can't get out of here. Oh, well, at least while I'm here, I can be alone with her. Maybe I'll just stay here forever.
So,
Which is
he was
you.
sealed in by that
A picture of ukiyo-e artist Udamaru Kitagawa.
Nurikabe.
Okay.
Although, from what it sounds like, he didn't mind being stuck here.
I guess he was in love with the woman in that picture?
Which, is she like an ancient? Like a much older from like earlier years in Japan? He deserved to die by fire? No, you're thinking of the different one. You disintegrated him? I did, in fact. I did, in fact, disintegrate the tubby man that was pretending to be a door. The one-eyed tubby man that was pretending to be a door. Oh shit, I said it and I already forgot it. It's okay, hold on. Let's go, not there. Let's go database. Here, man's note, Japanese calendar. It's not gonna be here. Here it is. Oh yeah, we were right. Okay, so Udamaru Kitagawa, ukiyo-e artist from Japan's Edo period 1603 to 1868, who specialized in genre known as bijanja, or artwork depicting beautiful women. He saw a meteoric rise in popularity when he incorporated the techniques of okubi-e and ukiyo-e, style that typically depicted only a subject's upper body. Unfortunately for the artist, the attention was a double-edged sword, as the shogunate government viewed him as a dangerous, socially disruptive figure and issued a law banning the production of okubi-e artworks. Though he defied the law and continued to produce his art, a piece depicting Hideyoshi Toyotomi at the Cherry Blossom viewing saw him branded a criminal and thrown into prison. He contracted an illness and died 2 years later. Hi, dang! Alright, boss man.
The yokai called a Nurikabe was hiding a room. So that's why the owner went missing.
You're telling me a
But didn't he say
yokai
years ago?
That explains a lot. I'm glad all the
He probably
mysteries
deserved it or
cleared up.
something? Oh no, we can't go with that justification. Mostly. I'm sure. Just mostly. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other side missions? No. Not at all. So we're gonna go. Nya. Which we can actually save quick travel to the cats. I did not know that. That's new. Getting banned is the highest honor as an artist? Yeah. Which it is kind of crazy if you say that, like, got a favor to ask you. Oh, but I don't have any of these other things. Damn it. Damn it. Are we gonna have to spend a day at some point where we go around achievement hunting this game? We're gonna have to do that at some point. I feel like we are. Oh, hey, buddy. Omikuji-kun's advice. Oh, uh-oh, terrible luck. That's a real stinker there. But hey, don't sweat. You can always grab yourself another Omikuji. They say that even the great Nobunaga himself once redrew his Omikuji 3 times. So if a major figure like him had no shame about it, neither should you. Hi, buddy. Would you say cat girls are going to be the downfall of humanity? Humanity is going to be the downfall of humanity. Give snack. Wait, weren't you... You're the person who sent us to the hoarder house. Why are you still here? Also, hold on, what is this? Coin bags? Cat girls aren't human? Wait a minute. No, they're cats. Going through people's trash. Going through people's trash. Commemorate your 60th birthday with us. Our 60th birthday marks the day of the Chinese zodiac comes full circle, a momentous occasion, which is why we all don the tradition of red garb. Whether gifts to a parent or grandparent, a family portrait is sure to warm their heart for years to come. Ah, it's a photo studio ad. Darn it. Darn it. I saw that open again. Who's in there? Creepy. I'm sure that's fine. Hell yeah. Give me the quad.
You're making me proud.
Okay. Give me the souls. I'm sure that's fine. Begins magicking. Correct. Why wouldn't I begin magicking? Oh no, that's... Oh, shit. Okay.
Use my powers. They'll let you see things the naked eye can't.
I remember this area.
Looks like a construction site.
I sense something. Let's take a look around.
Also, hey chat, are you ready to meet possibly the most iconic enemy in the game? Has her own flavor? I what? Flavor of what? What flavor do I have? Mr. Negative? No, that's Spider-Man. Also, I'm nosy, so I'm looking to see if they're hiding anything up here. Oh, hey, it's a book. King of the Loan Sharks. Hey, I got skill points for it. Hell
These are
yeah,
some
dude.
of my old case files. Keep them close. Could be useful.
Oh, yo, wait, 20 skill points? Damn. Damn, why was that just here? KK, why was that just here? All right, let's do piercing. Now we're gonna increase this. Cost 20. Okay, then now we'll actually do this. Core melee grab. Speed boost, ground attack boost. Oh, that's faster sneaking. Where was... Oh, there it is. You know, I kind of want to go for this as early as
Not
possible.
every day you get to climb up on top of a car.
Hey, you're lucky the owner's not here.
What's going on up here? Nothing? No hood rat shit? Okay. We'll go back down, I suppose. All right, chat, you're gonna have to hold your hand here, because hold my hand, not your hand. Hold my hand, because I know what's about to happen. Oh, hey.
What's this?
Okay. I want to get as much of the bonus stuff as I can real quick. Okay. Oh, well, let me use it because my health isn't high enough.
It's a Tory gate. I'll cleanse it.
Okay. Oh, hi! Hi, gorgeous.
Give me your right hand.
Save it.
Here it comes.
Come on.
I hit R for some reason. Oh, I just realized how low my fucking health is. Jesus.
Yeah, had me sweating bullets.
Oh, wait, she died? What the fuck? Getting ripped into sunken witch vibes? I can see it. It's okay, she's not even the worst person. Also, hi Smithy, welcome in.
Feeling a lot of power from this.
Yeah, it's the water orb. Touch orb. Touch orb. Water powers. Aquatic blades strike a wide area, making them deadly at close range. Charging the attacks will launch a wave that cuts through enemies. I like the water
Alright,
ability.
Fog in this area is lifted. Let's get to Calgaria.
All right. That's another thing. I don't know if you've noticed, chat. Does the hand look different to you? Oh, here, let me bring it back up. The effect of the spell that you were holding actually changes here as you go up. Oh, not that. Skills. Skills? Hello? As you go up the trees. Like if I go here, which, let's see. See, he's holding like an orb in his hand. Double wide. And then there, it's an even bigger orb. So if I go to wind... Oh, maybe it does seem the same. I remember noticing at one point that apparently it gets more powerful. Like the effect actually gets more intense, but it does actually change here. Like see here on level 3, it has like the big like white swirling center. Here, let's look at the fire. So small spear. Small spear. Okay, it does get bigger. Yeah, it's just wind for some reason doesn't look all that different in the previews. Has details like that. It's not always noticeable, but like here, it's with the other two, it's very noticeable. I could have swore it was much bigger on the wind preview. Maybe it is. Maybe the wind and the letters that are flying around get more noticeable, but I can't tell for sure. I do need to get this like charge time increase. But I'm also kind of stuck on the idea of what was it? Getting the Tengu, the summon Tengu ability. No, there's characters. Do you see the characters swirling around the hand? It automatically puts it away, by the way. That's not me. There's characters that are all part of the effect. Navigate the menu now. I refunded the game because I have to use alt and other shit and couldn't rebind. What? Angel, I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like the dumbest reason I've ever heard to refund a game. Oh, not what I wanted. I wanted to go talk to the cats. And then we'll go over here. Methinks. Yeah. Oh, hi.
Go to the South Station exit. That's where the entrance to Kageye is.
All right, what do you got? Do you need any of the collectibles that I've picked up? Oh, thank God, at least one. Illustrated? Huh. Oh, he wanted the hotel guy's painting. I bought it way early. I didn't feel like using my whole keyboard for a game. Wait, what game are you talking about? Now I'm confused. Got me. I vaporized the other one. Oh well.
These were all innocent bystanders.
Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii? Oh, you mean Schizophrenia Simulator?
Get it.
AKA recruit the homeless to become
This
pirates?
place is kind of creepy.
Like everywhere right now. Don't let it get to you.
Oh, there's another shop right here.
The station.
No people, no trains. Yeah.
You sell Yakisoba. Don't mind if I do, at least buy one. Please and thank you. All right, real quick.
We done yet?
Wait, I hit
Come on,
M. Why did it not open the map? Okay.
Go.
Seems to be the closest thing. Oh, never mind. It's up there. Also, there's... Hello, strangers? Strangers in the woods and no one around? Hi, Ghost Man. Come on. I don't play MMOs, so my opinion is biased. Are you talking about with the whole keyboard thing, are you talking about Star Citizen? That's the only thing I can think of that makes you use like the entire keyboard. Grape flavored mochi, you say? Wow, I'm glad the range on the takedowns is effectively unlimited. Except my skills are not. Oh, it's the woman. There she is. Look at her. We found the office lady. What are you doing down there, ma'am? Here, have this. Oh, doesn't reach far enough. That's fine. I forgot you could teleport. Although it is very funny that she teleported. And then fell again. Hell yeah. Dang it, my health is low. Did not realize my health was that low. Sakuta's presence, what the hell's going on? Shut up! God damn it. Not everything can be a Jujutsu Kaisen reference. Listen, you don't make all of these openable without some secret being in them, right? Right! I think I've been bamboozled. I think I was bamboozled. Shit. Alright, let's get this other one. Oh, there it is. Where all the corruption? Oh, there was a lot more office guys over here. Uh-oh. That's fine. Yeah, that works.
You can do even better.
Okay. Lockers normally with portable toilets too, I guess. Hmm? Wait, what do you mean? Which part are you talking about? Word of the week, bamboozled? That is not just the word of the week. That is one of the words of the channel, please and thank you. All right, I'm gonna need to go break a bunch of these crystals. What's what? Hello? Oh no. No, 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 no. Oh, there's another one right there. No, wait. What the fuck? What's your favorite flavor of mochi? Lychee. She's hanging. 2023 update patched the game for the conflicting keybinds. I tried to rebind things for convenience, but it just made it break. Okay. It's usually those are hints to look for things, but I just didn't notice because I am evidently blind. I think that's everything in this little construction area. Oh, no, wait, there's a cat. No, Eon. Gotta go around the long way. Please and thank you, Mr. Money Cat. All of this money. All right. I guess we're going up the center. Like this way. Where was that entrance? Is on your revisit? Good, as it should be. As everybody who likes RPGs and or spooky games should come and play this game. Not sponsored. Legitimately not sponsored. Speaking of sponsored stream chat. Uh-oh. Oh, there she is. Okay. Child, just in case you don't know, children are the most terrifying monsters in Japanese legends. And this one is the worst. Which is why I'm not gonna let her do anything. Okay. Also, I saw a cat. Where was it? There. I'm gonna get up there. Up. Nice. Oh, the other side is open. I'm stupid. Give me that. There's another collector cat here. Okay. Fingerless gloves. Nice.
Not much point redeveloping Tokyo on this.
Also, we haven't got any bracelets yet. Aside from the one that you get for having played the game before. Oh, it's one of the healer ones. Come on, come on. Oh, it only lets me go sideways. Okay. No doubt, I love that I would play for 2022 in terms of story. I just felt bad to play it. It was this or another game, and I got to refund to play in that other game. Oh. Oh. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, I think we're going up.
For far, far too long.
Oh, Jesus.
Been shackled inside our
You
Ow.
can't survive this!
That was the mist. I just wanted to get the red crystals.
The flesh twists the soul into grotesquerie for unknown and unjust ends. Are we meant to simply accept this as things stand?
Who was that?
But it doesn't have to be this way. O vagrant souls, heed my call and forsake your corporeal shells. Come and gather unto me.
Ooh, don't like those sounds. All right, you heard him, chat. Go ahead and just shed your skin. And nothing's defending this. Huh. Okay. I wanted to get that so I could get the spirits because I'm trying to get level up as fast as possible so that we can make certain parts as easy as possible. Fuck no, I love your...
Nope. Getting
Ow.
through this.
Ow, 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 ow. Still in the miss, apparently. Still in the miss. Ow. Alright, let's go talk to this person. Can't strip the clothes, but the flesh is fair game? Yeah. It's totally not so I can just collect the skins that you leave behind to make other
A
things.
long time ago, this area used to be called Kappa Swamp. They sometimes find
Strip the flesh? Oh no.
and then everybody just blame it on a Kappa.
Speaking of the strip emote, I feel like there should be a version of that. That's basically Pyramid Head from the first movie after he like skins that woman. Y'all know the scene, right? I'm not the only one who knows that scene. Wait, is this an openable shop? Oh my god, it is.
Hey, find me a pack of smokes.
No!
They've got
Alright,
some unusual stuff here.
I always find myself buying stuff like this.
I want to make sure I have like all of the journal entries for the food. For achievement purposes, if you will. Okay, and then we spend all of our money on getting as much of those Kitashiros as we can.
Don't waste all our makeup.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Especially now, I can go back to the inventory, the bracelets, and we can unequip this one. Let's also check outfits real quick. Where did those... Oh, this was the fingerless gloves. It just let us keep it. Black boots are better. Or do we wear some of the embarrassing outfits? Like, oh my god. Ugh. Wait a second. Is that the artist suit from Evil Within? Ah, yes. Oh, well, then this is from like the special game mode that I have never played. Intellectual detective suit. That's Ed's outfit. No. No. Shrimp. It's shrimp. Or is it Gourmet Ghoul? Self-proclaimed master artist? It could be Gourmet Ghoul, but I'm pretty sure it's from Evil Within. First rung on the ladder of life. Oh, he was a police officer? Oh, that's the biker outfit. Good fucking lord. The raincoat is also kind of funny in its own little way. Huh. This is Ghostwire Tokyo. Hi, Hollow. Oh god, is it the shrimp? Are we wearing the shrimp? Are y'all doing this to me? No? Hi, boss. Welcome in. You know what? Let's I'm gonna make y'all pay for it. 10 subs. If the daily sub count hits 10, I will do the shrimp the rest of the playthrough. We will be the shrimp. Actually, maybe 20 subs. Maybe 20 subs. Yeah, we're gonna go with 20 subs. 20 gifted subs. And if we do the 20 gifted subs, then I will do ground pounds. Nah. Ground attack boost.
What's your pleasure? What's
You
your
can do
fear?
this. Thank you for gifting a sub, Weasel.
The beauty up front.
You're saying this shrimp go round? The bits don't count. I said subs.
Seems handy.
All right, let's go do this. Mind you, the rest of the game is still like probably like 15 hours. We're not going in there yet. We're going to talk to the kid who's been turned. Is evil denying a shrimp? I'm not denying anything. That'll do it. That'll do it.
What's your fear?
All right.
Took your sheet of Kodama. Don't mess
Thank
with
you.
cops.
Hey, Ramaya got one. Holy
I'll get
shit.
it. Don't worry. Any more cukes?
Neko Alley Anime. Biscuit Ghost.
Good. That's how we'll lure it out.
All right, that'll do it. Now we gotta do the thing.
What's your pleasure? What's your fear?
Christ. Shrimps is bugs. Shrimps is bugs. Oh my god, Angel too.
A kappa. What do we do now?
Stay hidden and wait until...
Praise be to the shrimp op. Oh no.
When it's distracted, we move in. Can't rush it.
Yeah, but this entire capturing kappas are 99%
Track its
wait
movements.
and just don't be seen by them. Because they're gonna go searching for you. And at some point they're gonna lock in on the cucumber. Praise be the shrimp, praise be the shrimp. No. How could you do this to me? It's fine, I'm sure. I could have sworn there was a human here.
It took the bait.
Okay, it took a second. All right, thank you, Mr. Kappa. Wait, I wish to be on the bridge. I wish to be on the bridge. Oh no, is my shrimp butt too big? Or I have to talk to the boy
Got
first,
your
seriously?
Shitty Kodama, kid. Can move again, right?
Don't mess with
Oh,
yokai from now on.
Okay. Also, why is the spirit of a kid just wandering around the mall?
You big old softy.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. And then I know I could just keep moving. Oh, hey, we got a camera filter. Interesting. All right, guess we're going inside. How about you slumber D's cucumbers? All right, somebody slap Mara. Preferably with a cucumber. Here, let me just... And think about circle back. It only got one of them? There's somebody behind me. Oh no, they're upstairs.
Watch yourself!
Okay. That's fine. Now I do know. Wait a second. Nothing's. Oh, hello, Dongo. Dongo, Dongo. No cucumber, only booting? Booty. This store sells booty. Butt cheeks. Fucking Hulky stream reminded me that that band fucking existed. Because he was doing the, like, Tumblr sexy man tier list. And the fucking guitarist from that YouTube band was on it. Wait, I could have swore this was the way I needed to go. Do we need to take the elevator? Oh my god, that Tory Gates. The fuck are you? Oh, I know who you are. Daedric, and who decided that? Just flex on him.
It looks like this elevator still works.
Are we not on the 4th floor? Oh, okay. I guess we weren't. Wait, that escalator goes up 4 floors? That does not feel like 4 floors. Oh, it goes up 1. We were on the 5th. Well, no, it's just I don't ever challenge y'all to things. I just kind of give y'all things most of the time. Oh yeah, you know how we talked about a fat bastard earlier? You want to see a fat bastard? My man's got a hammer. All right, buddy.
Watch yourself. Real bad.
I'm sure it is. Nope. 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 Jesus. Give me that. Give me that. Oh man, I wanted to execute him.
Talon getting stronger.
Okay, I got nervous for a second because I thought I heard another mob. Okay. Give me this, give me this. Let's go over here first. Oh wait, there's stuff down here. Give me that. We do a sneaky sneak. You would not let me crouch up the edge. That was goofy.
This is more than we can handle.
Yeah, Kafka's hanging out. It's always nice seeing Kafka so much. There was something over here, I swear. There's that, but I don't really want to go for that right now. Because I think we have to go over there later. Yeah, that is the big boy. Sadly, he only drops money. Why do I feel like something's supposed to happen here? I swear something's supposed to happen here. Also, another cat.
Wonder if they...
Shaved ice! Don't mind if I do. Snow cones are ass. Shaved ice is better, chat. Don't you ever forget it.
Come on, let's go.
Hold on. Gasoline. Wait. Yes, they always explode. Affliction. Again?
Leave it to a pro.
Or just get an ice cream? You are correct. That is significantly better. That was, though, that weekend I went and had conveyor belt sushi. In that supermarket, they actually had a Korean creamed ice place. A snowball is what they called it. And I never realized when I heard people talk about in Manhwa that they were going to go get a cream ice and not an ice cream, that it was in fact something completely different. They're creeping in my ice? It's more like flakes of like much harder ice cream that's been turned into the way as if it's like shaved ice. Oh, wait, I did miss a spirit. Oh, hey. Another Odin. Yeah, Krish. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And I really wish more people would play it, so that it would get some more attention and then maybe potentially get a sequel. Because I genuinely think it's like the biggest and one of the best Japanese horror games. Can I jump up there? I can, okay. Also, sorry if I'm loot goblining all over the place. I'm trying really hard to collect things.
Check it out.
Need a ghost. I saw you going over here, man. Where did you go? I kind of hope I get the wind bracelet soon, not gonna lie. Oh, there's another ghost.
On to the next thing.
Oh, there's something here. What are you? Dancing headless students. Ah, yes, skill points. Hell yeah. Wait, was there something else over here? Oh, arrows. Don't mind if I do. I've not picked up arrows in a while. Cleanse the giant torii gate! Hell yeah.
Could be something in that shrine. Go check it out.
We're so gonna get cursed.
We're so gonna get cursed. Oh, another affliction. Marion Breach is an emote on Twitch. I don't have any more spaces. And I'm not willing to sacrifice any of the emotes we currently have. I'm sorry. Wait, give me those. I want those pips. Okay, I didn't miss any of the other spirits that spawned from finishing the shrine. Yoink. Okay. Hello? That ain't Jesus.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, so I think those meow sounds are the like collectibles being in the room. Oh. Oh, it's the stun talismans. Oh yes, the talismans, the things I constantly fucking forgot to use. Hardly ever used.
Try out one of those talismans. Good. Be sure to use them wisely.
Darn, when am I gonna get to execute?
We can figure out the lay of the land. Get a
Rice
better idea of our
bomb.
situation.
Oh, there was spirits back here. Sheep go around the best 7 TV emote. I'm a little biased. I kind of like the go bigger one for reasons. Now the 7 TV more emote slots. Good. 7 TV the extension trash. Yeah. Yeah, and outside of like the emote function, it is kind of. All right, we're gonna go higher up. Wow, that is a cool grow emote. Whose is that? Inu Kazuna. All right, I've never heard of them. Oh,
All right, let's climb up from the
oh,
outside.
I can see the ghosts up
Keep your
there.
eyes peeled for anything useful.
I'm working on it. Smack. Smack.
This area is really.
I have been
changed a
tempted
lot, huh?
after seeing
No idea.
Vexoria's
saw how it was before.
grow emote a long time ago. I have
So
considered
hard to
getting
talk to
one,
kids.
but not enough to really spend money on it right now since we don't have slots anywhere except like Discord. Wow, double kill.
Come on!
That's fine. Wait, ad break already? We just had the ad break. What the hell? All right. We'll do a pause. I'll bring back the game. Sadly, we're out of stickers, though. We are out or we are not? I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure we're full completely on like... Oh yeah, Discord's full of stickers. We do not have any more sticker spaces. No, it's too late. We did not, in fact, just have it, as I said. Which is double unfortunate. Okay. Then we'll just take a little bit of a break and we'll play this together. Saxophone is 66. Saxophone 66, milk 34, saxophone, okay. Headphone 63. That was the second game controller. I just don't remember where the first one was. Oh, damn it. Was that 16 and 68? Nice. Nail 25. It keeps showing the same bus. And I still don't remember the number, which I think the bus is 45. Clover's 31. Oh my God. 45, 51? No, it was something else. Is it 51, 55? Oh, you got it. Okay. Oh no, that wasn't even close. Ah, goodness. Oh, hold on. I need a good stretch. Keeps taking a shit. Oh, great. The ad break didn't count for me. Hi, Keyblade. Thank you for this. Thank you for self-care. Dad, if you can still hear me, say hi to Keyblade Knight, my one and only Weary 101 follower. The one time I was on the Weary 101. And the only follower I got out of it in my tiny 15-minute window to be on it was Keyblade Knight. Takahata 101. The what? The Weary 101 was Takahata's little like chat show that he had when he was still active. I hope he's doing better. Let's go with that. I literally messed it up several times. How's that my fault? You did in fact fuck it up, Sunstar. Is still on break. Takahata is likely never coming back, you guys. He is more than likely never coming back. And, oh, so what the fuck? Come on. It also really does feel, oh my god. It really does feel too like the devs and the mocap artists put in a lot of work for, no ma'am. Ow, ow. Okay.
Hey, not bad.
Are we good?
Thanks, boss.
Okay. Thanks, boss. Oh yeah, that's exactly a pop. If y'all don't know what it is, I do recommend going and looking up if you care. Other than that, I don't expect Takahata to come back. That's just what it was. Okay. Yoink. Isn't anything else here, right? Okay. Where would I contact you for voice work over the word count? I'm feeling sappy and my anniversary is coming up. If you can email me. There's the business email down below. Oh, nothing, Kelvin. Some people were saying that they were hoping Takahata's all right. And that he's like on break. I was like, he's not coming back. I am like 99.99% sure he's never coming back. Oh, also over the word counts? I'm curious to see what you want to, what you're trying to send me. I wanted to spend all the souls to see if we would level up. Because then we can go spend points on skills. Oh, we only leveled up once? Darn it. Okay, that's fine though. What do we have? 4 Magatama, 40 skill points. 15. You know what? I'm definitely gonna take this one. Aerial dodge. Chain? Oh no, that is 15 points. Okay, hold on. I don't think there's really much reason right now for us to... That's carrying up to 5. Oh, speed. I kind of want to level these up a bit more. 2 shots at a time. Oh, that's right. We were going to level this. All right. Glide duration. You know what? Let's just grab the perfect block. Might as well. Might as well get all the mechanics we can.
Use it well, kid.
Hi, Zacher. Give me that, give me that, give me that. Keep schmovin'. Just keep schmovin'. I'll be a sappy bitch and say nice things about you here. Okay.
There.
Hold on, I want the soul though. Give me your spirit.
One step at a time.
See, much faster. Okay. Just say, why'd you want to be a sappy bitch here? I'm just curious what the things are gonna be. Who can fill a character count? Is it, you said it's anniversary. Which anniversary is this? Oh, more arrows. Don't mind if I do. I'm so glad people left arrows lying around. Oh, ghost. Oh, hi. Put that hand away. Put that hand away or still help me. The ghost guys are almost always just like 2 hits. Or 3 hits, I mean. At least until we get the bracelet. And then I think we can get it down to 2 hits. Oh, it's on the other side? Darn it. Listen, I wanted to try, okay? Okay. Oh, wait. Aether crystals. Kind of need them. I've only got like 3 shots. All right. Give me all those, please. What is this way? Huh? One single spooky man staring at the ghost, doing nothing. Meh. Quick smo while he's here. Get Odin, get him! We all agreed having a Aether duo would be weird for extended family, but the fiance was up for it. That's still very cute. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, here, let me see. No, I did see the thing about it. I'm a happy bitch. I could see, I could fill a character limit. Okay. Did you so
Something
such?
over there.
Oh, no. Oh, it's the bracelet. It's the first bracelet we get. Finally. Gust one.
That'll work.
Excellent.
Hey, look pretty good on you.
A whole 20% attack bonus. They're shaking me?
Good.
Yeah, I told them to shake you.
Now to look around the city.
They've got those tourist binoculars. Let's use those.
Okay, but hold on. This is important. This is very important. Money! Give me. Excellent. Shrimp looks pretty good on you. Oh, God. God, please, no. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
It's the guy we lost before.
Why is he blinking like that? Oh, he sees me. Into the Shibuya Underground. I did nothing wrong? Shake him harder.
He went underground.
Maybe they're operating out of there.
Hey, child, what should I eat today?
Again. Let's go.
Oh, yes. Random migraine. I want to eat the shrimp. Sushi on Mardi Gras? Okay, maybe. Man. Okay, we're seeing KK's memories. Sick.
Damn it.
What options are there? We could go find some place that's like meaty and delicious.
Making a mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't spread over every egg.
Thing is, though, is I already went to my favorite. What the hell is that? There's a purple Tory out there. Oh, side mission. You know, I don't know what I was expecting. Let's go ahead and mark that. Ghostware. But... okay, do I just want to take it the long way down, or... Because I think at this point... Oh no, it's not visible. Oh wait, maybe it is. What are you? Okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah, we gotta go back down here. I'm still missing something about this room. How do I get into that room? I want to get into that room. After saying someplace meaty and delicious? Yes. Yes. Very much so. I do still wonder why these are all like very obviously some kind of like private room. And then this one has a doorway in for some reason. Is there no other door over here? I guess not. Maybe I am supposed to be able to destroy through the door. But imagine Ghostwire Berlin, all the German bedtimes. Oh. Okay, that'd be kind of cool. I can dream, Harold. Except for the fact that Tango Gameworks doesn't exist anymore. Oh, it still stops at the door, so there's got to be another way in. Can't be that way. What the hell? Is that an eye? No, I think it was just an advertisement. Unfortunate. Oh, my stomach. Oh, my stomach. Okay.
Somebody help me!
I was screaming. Ticonderoga? Wait, what would that one be like? Dark Carnival.
Not
The
breathing,
shrimpening?
you're a
Not the
spirit.
shrimpening.
A white cloth, though? I don't think cloths do that.
It's no ordinary cloth. Not if it can mess with spirits.
Just do something.
Ghostwire Soul would just be K-pop demon hunters?
I'm afraid it'll attack me again if you
I mean, yeah, kind
Don't
of.
worry. A spirit can't die twice.
But sit here and tell me that
Sounds like
that
there's
wouldn't be a
something worth
banger of a
checking out.
game. Go on. Especially if it's like, if they updated it and basically played it like... Okay, think of it like Spider-Man. Think of it like Spider-Man 2, where you could have co-op.
There.
Yeah, the weird
That
little
looks like
creature.
Nita Moment. It doesn't seem like it's too worried about us. Just chase after it. Try to keep up until it stops.
Gotcha, bitch. Ghostwire Russia with Baba Yaga and other horrors? It could be interesting. Like, there's a lot of options. And I'm very disappointed that we only got Tokyo. Apparently there's another Ghostwire game. I have never seen it. It's in the categories, but it's just called Ghostwire. Both of these guys are kind of facing away from me. Gotcha, bitch. And then the very small... I think it is kind of funny that most of the obviously feminine yokai are very small, except for like The majorly known ones? Oh, is there anything else I want to grab up here? Because I kind of want to jump down there and get those spirits. Yum. Wait, do I need to go back for that lady? Okay, no I don't. Oh, there's more ghosts. Not an issue. Let's just go after these other spirits and this soup that I can't pick up. Never mind. Never mind. My soup! Go back down to the ground floor. And the fact that we've been finding those other, like, businesses that you can go into. Hi, buddy.
For far, far too long, we have been shackled
Nah.
inside our own bodies. Our very flesh is a manacle, an encumbrance.
Gentlemen, please. Is there another one? Okay. Found it? Found what?
Good.
Swedish Game
Save
Studios,
that.
a different game today, announced
Do I
they had
detect
begun
a
development
hint
in
of
augmented
compassion?
reality Ghostwire for the new DSi platform using the DSi's built-in camera. The game allows you to find what ghosts see through the camera lens and project them into the real world. No. That, I'm not going to lie, does not sound that good. Actually, I forget. I can't go through this building. Hello. Excuse me, places to be, things to do. Ghostwire Nola, imagine all the shrimp. Instead of dumplings, we get gumbo. You spoil me. It's like, who's looking at me? Oh, it's a big guy staring at the Jizo statue. Don't you dare look at me. Whew!
All right, good.
Didn't we? I swear we walked past this recently. Maybe I'm just mixing it up. Yo, takoyaki?
Wonder if, man, what don't they have here?
Gimme.
I hate waiting for people to shop.
Oh, boo-hoo.
That took 6 seconds, KK. Wait, the cat's back. Oh, wait, no, I think this is a different section because, yeah, this is a different one. Oh, we didn't get all the coins. Thank you. Oh, wait, no, that's... I wanted to go this way. I was following the line on the ground like an idiot. I didn't want to go there yet. I wanted to go to the side missions. There's Lorem Ipsum again. Yeah, I'm coming to answer the phone call. Hold on, hold your horses. Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
Have I reached KK? Well, I certainly hope so.
Ed,
Oh, hi, Ed.
another of his voice recorders.
I wish to better understand Shibuya's current status. Could you
DS platform tried really hard to break into augmented reality, but people didn't really care about AR very much. It was too much of a thing for like little kids to go running around holding their DSs in front of their faces.
I've prepared all the equipment you'll need.
Plus the quality wasn't that good.
252. I'll be counting on you.
It's just AR games have never done that well. Name a person who still plays Pokemon Go or any of the similar
Wow,
games with the AR turned on.
Kind of pushy, huh?
That's Ed for you.
I have never met a person who
But if he
uses
says
that.
it's important, we should check it out.
And DMs with that voice. Mayhaps.
First, let's get whatever's in that locker.
Combination.
Okay, but hold on. There's an icon over here of a collectible that we didn't pick up. And it is excruciatingly important that I get it. Where is it? Is it you? Oh, it is you. Oh,
What's that?
it's a bronze bell. Dotaku, bronze-shaped, bell-shaped bronzeware thought to have been produced during Japan's Yayoi period. Thought to be. Do you not know? Oh, no one keeps proper enough records of their own history anymore. Granted, to be fair, Japan was technically colonized. Hey chat, want to learn about some Japan ancient history? Bracelet.
What's this thing?
Probably an observation device. Should put it
Okay,
on
this
your
game
arm.
has damn nice voice. True. Smells burning
Need to
rubber.
find an
Oh,
open space. Clear view of the moon.
Maybe a rooftop then.
yeah. Okay. Oh, here, I know one of the entrances is actually through this construction site. Everything is China over that way. Actually, it's Korea. Japan was colonized more than 3,000 years
That should be a
ago
high enough building.
by people from the Korean
my way up.
Peninsula. Original Japanese people were more like Pacific Islanders. Now they're basically condemned to, I believe, the northern parts of Japan. If I remember right. They have a different name, too. I just can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Oh, I'm actually maxed out.
Well, look at you.
Still acting like it can see me. Okay, never mind. Now it can't. Mugen from Samurai Champloo was that ethnicity? I think you're right. I don't. Oh, no. No. I don't know for sure. I have never seen Samurai Champloo. If I said no, you'll tell me anyways. Japan is cool. I mean, it's just that so many countries were conquered, colonized, or otherwise so many times across history. Archer Guy and Last Samurai Standing. Also don't know that one. Seems like the Joseon era of Korea. That's one way to think about it. Again, there's also the lady with the machete. Who I don't know if she's looking in this direction. Nice buns, man. Hi, Hammonds. Give me those. Give me your snacks, because I demand it. They're mine. You were just holding on to them. I don't want to... Oh my god, no. There's another schoolgirl over there. Who is randomly looking around right now. Okay. Yeah, with the wind bonus, we deal a lot of damage right now until we run into harder mobs. Which is unfortunate, because if I remember right, I'm pretty sure NPCs scale as the game goes on. Where was the way up? Here? No. Oh, there it is. Ainu? I think that's it. I think you're right that it's the Ainu people. Hello? Doesn't seem to be anything on this floor. Those cats? Oh, those are all cats. Huh. Still got it. Oh, there really is not any people on this floor. Oh, this was another way in to skip the first floor.
Let's try to get higher. Way up.
Okay. Maybe those. Spider Gall wants some weed? Wait, what? No, not weed guy. No! Kitty. Kitty. Oh my god, I get to pet the black cats. No, damn it. Oh well, let's see. What was the other wing? Oh right, there was a booth thing there. Not a booth. Why did I say booth? An elevator thing. Up. Going up. Wait a second, what was that? What was that? That better have been arrows. Okay, no, it was an aether thing. Up. Up. Did you give Beef notice? I could go to the Korean barbecue place.
There's corruption here.
For Mardi Gras.
Clear it out first.
Okay, never mind. We're already up to doing it in basically 2 hits. Okay. Vault. Okay. Oh, this one didn't give me any spirits. Huh. Wait, nothing special appearing? Doesn't seem like it. Hi, Tuka. How are you doing?
That's all of them.
I keep hitting R because I'm so used to reloading in games.
Made it. Now what do I do?
Use that observation device. Point it at the moon.
All right, hold your horses. Hold your horses. There's money jars to take. Excellent. Back to the helipad. Wow, the skybox.
Aim the device at the moon and it'll start analyzing.
Moon!
Ed built something similar for Tengu watching before. That's how I know.
Tengu watching?
Tengu watching? All right, this should work.
Secret
On to the
chats
next spot.
my ass. Okay, where are the other ones? Really far away from each other. Oh god, it's that hospital right there. Alright, chat, you ready to get queasy? I lived.
Yeah, just like that.
The grace of some god somewhere. Okay, this was the... Oh, I didn't actually look for spirits after we did the shrine. So this is where we fought that lady for the first time. And I didn't get the spirits after we finished. Okay. So now we gotta get up there somehow.
This looks pretty tall. Let's try up there.
Oh, there's a Tinker right there, so maybe that'll be useful. And I immediately see the Yakuza puffs. Gimme! Oh, damn it. Double damn it. I could make it, right? Okay, nice. Because then we can just jump back with the Tingo. Alright, let's go see if we can find another way up. No, wait, this is the mall we were at! Son of a bitch. My horror game hospitals. We've been into the hospital once already. I don't remember if we go into the hospital again. Genuinely don't. Just keep going up. And there's more spirits. After my drawing project. Not tell what I'm drawing? You monster. You can't tease a drawing project and then not say what it is. That's like against the artist code or something. I don't know, I'm not an artist.
Look up.
Look up. Oh, it's Tinker.
Tengu must like it up here. There's a ton of them.
I mean, it's high up and kind of taller than everything. And there's not really anybody out here. Going up. Oh, hi, guys.
Now to find the tallest place here.
Making me proud.
Oh, graffiti.
Wonder who made it.
It's Tinker graffiti. Damn, I've never noticed those before. Those must be new. From the big update that I didn't get to experience. Oh my god. Hell yeah. Okay. Give me your soul. That includes you, Chad. Give me your souls. Gotta work now. Chat, bully Marin with money and compliments. Thank you.
Nice
Marin,
view.
how the fuck is it almost 2 years? Good luck. Stay awesome. I have been
Okay.
I have been
We haven't
streaming
had
a
much
long
to
time.
admire the moon, have we?
A very long
Thanks for a nice
time. Also, I'm gonna
breather.
take a drink of water.
We'll have to thank Ed later.
What do you mean toast
We'll
wire?
find out anything else here.
On in the next spot.
I also, chat, you should go check out VT Horizons. If you want to get, you know, like super cool merch and shit to carry around with you every day that is super subtle and not at all obnoxious in most ways. Wait, what is this? Oh, that's the marker I put on the map. Oh, I can't fast travel to you. That's better than just jumping or something. Merch of quality. Also, let's see if we got any new knickknacks. Portrait of Spirit sold. Yes, puppy, I hear
Ever
you.
See that big painting they've got in the walkway?
Oh yeah. Definitely leaves an impression.
That's also creepy. Shit. There's one of those freaky little mermaids. She's on to me. What do you do? She's down. Where's the other one? Oh, hi. Please sprint. All right, where'd that other mermaid go? Where did she go? Oh no, it's the parade again. Here, chat, just in case you want to see all of the mobs that are in the game. That we will see at some point. The Midnight Parade. The more we'll get for you to buy more of. True. We're actually working on a poster. Are you saying we can get Mango Shrimp merch? I could make a Shrimps is Bugs keychain more than likely. Okay, now how do we get up there?
Up there ought to work. Let's make our way to the roof.
Oh. Finally get the poster. Yeah. Why don't you sound happy about it, Sunstar? Do you not what you don't want the poster? Okay, we'll work on something else. That's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll come up with another idea. I'm sure there's options. Also, I remember the staircase was here because I think the last time we played this game on stream, I sat here and stared at the building for like 20 minutes trying to figure out how the fuck to get up to the roof. Only to find out that it was way back here, right next to the mist border. You can't see it, but Baron is currently a shrimp. I am, in fact, shrimping. Please and thank you. Melon. Oh, that was the marker.
Good view of the moon from here. Time to use Ed's device.
Ed's always been running these strange investigations.
Okay.
But if it weren't for that work...
And the boxer poster, now it's all Marin's idea? Listen, I did not say that it was only my idea. It was never only my idea. None of the merch is solely my idea.
Pretty creepy when you look at it.
It's not like the sun doesn't light itself. So that means something's making it look that way.
Or we're reading too much into a big space rock.
Probably.
Gimme. Okay, do we need to go... Oh, we do need to go all the way back over there to turn it in. That's probably fine. Oh, son of a bitch. Someone is here. Jesus fucking Christ! Oh my god. Ah, who did it? Delta, you fucking bitch! How fucking dare you? Oh my god, thank you for the 100 bits. Also, hold on, can I actually change inventory? Okay, there we go. Oh. Do that. Keep that one. Swap to that one. Okay. Shrimp! Yeah, shrimp. Oh, I kind of want seafood. I could always go to the food hall. Oh. Ah, yes. The spooky schoolgirls running on the building. That's actually kind of a cool touch, I'm not gonna lie. It's a cool touch in its own way. that there's just these different projections that can appear in different places.
Come on, let's send Ed the data.
All right, Ed, take your
Wonder what
shit.
we'll learn from this.
What is that? Oh, it's the phone. That's the phone. Why do I hold the phone up to my... Oh. Okay. Chicken thighs for dinner? Ooh.
These readings are roughly what I anticipated. It seems the moon currently in the sky is indeed Luna herself. There are a few discrepancies, but they're within permissible range. No, hold on a moment.
What does that mean?
Results fall within expected parameters because they're what I anticipated? Could my initial assumption of this moon's authenticity have led to the inadvertent...
Ed, you fucking dork.
If instead we assume that everything in this world is a fabrication, then...
Oh no, Ed's having a crash out.
But he hung up. What was so urgent about all this again?
Probably best not to overthink it.
Ed's having a mental break. Is everything fake or are my assumptions what's keeping the world constructed together?
Out of curiosity, what's that moon look like to you?
Farm fresh egg on a nice bowl of supper.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Hell with the moon. Okay. Let's go. Because I think there was... No, there wasn't. Hello? Huh. Interesting that it's showing me to them so far out there. But that's fine. We have another fucking shrine to go clear. Aki and saltfish is the way to go. What is that? Some red snapper. Oh. The thing is, though, is my favorite Cajun place is closed. There is a Cajun place at the food hall I'd like to go to. They have po' boys, and they're decently priced, but they are the biggest pain in the ass to possibly eat. For some reason, they put mayonnaise and remoulade on it. The crawfish is pouring out of the sandwich so badly that you basically drop half the crawfish into the plates when you pick it up for the first time.
Yeah, bet you'd love that.
Can't hurt.
The bread isn't that great. It's a fairly normal, like, hoagie. Also, I am buying one of each food just so that I can get, like, the journal completion.
Don't waste all our makeup.
Yeah.
It's fine. Oh boy, I think I'll be able to get line of sight of him. Oh, so there's another spirit up there that I am going to take. They're all mine. They just don't know it yet. What is your favorite ramen shop? Okay, the best ramen shop I've ever been to in my life is Corpus Christi, Texas. Makoto's. I have not lived in a city that has had a significant Japanese population to have many opportunities. There was actually one. That's for ramen. Makoto's is a ramen place. It does also have dishes and stuff. The best Japanese place overall that wasn't like solely ramen. Portland, Maine. You know what? Hold on, chat. We're gonna side tangent for a second. I know exactly where it is, but I don't know its name. Let me open in maps. Get rid of you. And then let me grab the window display for y'all. Hi, chat. Welcome to the Portland Boardwalk. It is... Watami, here it is. This is the best Japanese place I've ever been to. Amazing local Japanese place, miss it all the same. So if anybody lives in Maine or in New England and ever visits Maine, good place. It's also technically in the tourist section. So like, these are all like shops and stuff. The like, was it amphibious vehicle like pickup is around here? You know, like the duck boats and stuff. Lobster place. Don't go here. It's overpriced as fuck. Holy Donut. That was the one of the donut places I was talking about. There's one right here on the boardwalk. But yeah, really cool port. Portland, Maine. Fantastic place. And just in case, where was it? Oh, it doesn't have a marker on here. But no, wait. What the hell? This isn't a right marker. This is not the right place. Okay, there it is. Hi, chat. There's where I used to work. Right next to the fucking Carnival Cruise Line pier. This whole section right here is where cruise ships park. Yeah. But yeah. Best Japanese place I've ever been to. Watami. Fantastic. Good portions, good prices. Does the Carnival get a cruise liner? No. No, it doesn't. Anyway, that's all for the side tangent. Let's figure out how we're going to kill this lady without starting a fight. And probably, you know, we're going to start a fight. More snacks. You had to turn around, ma'am. Oh, regular Odin. Wait, what is this? That's all fruit, but you're selling Odin. Oh no, it's a kid. Oh, the kid is looking over here.
Don't stay in the fog. It'll kill you.
It's okay, I'm not being hurt. Oh, Jesus.
Back out. You can't survive this.
Again, it's not hurting me. Please, kid, please don't see me.
You got a death wish? Quit it.
It's literally not hurting me, KK. We can fish off the side of the boat. We going on a cruise? No, we're not going on a cruise because a cruise is a waste of money. But yeah, if I let this kid see me, they're immune to damage. And will instead scream and spawn a bunch of the hardest mobs. It's very interesting that just this tiny little back alley shrine is the one that was like corrupting this whole area. All right, we might as well go equip those just because we have a slot for it right now. Where were you? There you are. Okay. Ah, yes, my vanilla clam miso soup. Open, damn you. Oh, won't let me. Oh, it's a police officer. Oh, shit. Okay. Excuse me, ma'am. The USS Minnow? Isn't that from something? That's from something, but I can't put my...
Maybe I'll buy something.
Is it Gilligan's Island? Mandated engagement comment? Thank you, Jarathi.
You can use these to freeze enemies in place.
Oh.
These talismans will let us jump up to high places.
I forgot that there were others. Okay, is there any food that's now available that I haven't owned? Nope. Nope.
Should be able to use this to get to high places fast.
Updrafts. Create a patch of strong upward wind wherever you throw them. You can jump them. You can then jump into the current to fly upwards. Updraft talismans cannot be used in certain locations. Okay, I am kind of curious. How high do you think it's going to shoot me? Oh, pretty high. Okay, that's actually great. That's a new talisman they added with the big up. Oh my god, it lasts quite a while too. Huh. You know what? Let's turn in the spirit so we have... Shit. Oh, hey. That's fine. That's fine. Grab more spirits while we can. Nope, nope. Not close enough. It's okay, it's okay. To the moon? To the USS Ringleader? I think it would have a different name. Plus, USS means that it's an American vessel. I don't want it to be USS. Oh boy, migraines.
No. Help me.
Oh yes, because psychic sibling bonds. And wonder if it feels like there's water in it, but there isn't.
I can feel the power.
Oh? Oh, it did just unlock something. Oh shit. When elemental charge rush. Hold left click until charge is complete, then hit Q to activate. Oh, right, the base of the Gatling gun.
Let's blast the hell out of them.
Okay, let me see. Does that mean it gave me here? Okay, I did. I unlocked the other branch for it. Critical hits? It doesn't deal critical hits from the get-go? That's kind of weird. Okay, we'll do this. Is there something else that's new that it's trying to show me? Because it still has an exclamation mark here. Equipment? No, I think it's trying to get me to spend the Magatama that we have. But I want to use it on this so that we can get the Tengu.
Seems handy.
Is that it? There's nothing else that unlocked with this? What are you? Oh, okay, that's the hospital we went into. Okay, I think we've reached a point where we have to go do the main story. After we beat up the police officer.
This place has barely changed since the old days.
Could you knock it off with the old days stories?
Hey, respect your elbow. That's the way.
Come on, Batman! Come on, Batman!
From the beauty up front.
Uh-oh, 40 seconds till ad break. Here, take this from me and Widow? Well, thank you, Death. How are you doing? Oh, it was the spirits. It was the spirit sounds. You know, whenever they added that in the special update, I never really bothered using it. But that was actually kind of fun. Oh wait, there's another spirit right here. Alright, then we'll head to the underground. Sonic Underground. Oh, I see two spirits there. And this delivery bike. Oh, wait. can still get those, but that's definitely in the mist. Okay. What y'all hiding down here? Good for going to bed now. Good night, Jeff. Thank you for hanging out. And thank you for the bits.
You must have gone through here.
Over there.
Spirits. Very important. And a level up. Nice. Hold on. We gotta check. Because sometimes there's cool stuff when they try to misdirect you. Like snacks. A prophecy warns of a deadly fate. HQ presentation, ad break, damn it. All right, hold on. Getting snacks. It's important, okay? It's important. All right. Let me get y'all the game. I will restart the game and give y'all the music, but I'm gonna be back in a second. I kept hearing somebody come in and out, so I'm gonna go see if somebody's here. But I'll be back in a couple minutes. All right. What'd I miss? Everybody's still alive? Nobody's shaking Redain right now? Damn, that's a shame. That's a shame. Hold on a second. Oh! Pfft. Fucking Christ. All right, chat, I have a question. Did anybody see what Wildlight, the company that made High Guard, said this morning? Watch out explosions. Chat's the one who needs to watch out. Y'all are one. You're exploding chat, not me. Apparently, they're blaming gamers for Highguard not being successful. But it's also been found out that their major bankroller was Tencent. You know, 10, play it as safe as humanly possible. Cent. That's fucking stupid. I saw something this morning, but Zoa just reminded me. I don't know. That game was so fucking milquetoast. I don't even know what else to call it. It's God. I don't know how to put it into words. I hate to compare it to Concord because Concord was just ugly and bad. I think it's just the fact that it was just another one of those games that was already part of a saturated market that had no real oomph to it. No, I would not even blame Jeff Keighley. Plus, the company itself wanted to shadow drop Highguard. Originally, their plan was to shadow drop it. I promise you, it was gonna do worse if they shadow dropped it. I don't know what their plan was. You really can't get better marketing, even if it's bad marketing, at the Game Awards. Yeah, them having that chance at the Game Awards was literally the best chance of the game potentially being popular. They shadow dropped it. Nobody's gonna see that shit. An unknown studio shadow dropping a game was not gonna go anywhere. Fall short of it and blame everyone else. It's not even, the thing is though, is that sounds like what they're saying is they're like, gamers have too high of standards. Yeah, but then you look at your game and there's literally nothing special about it. You made a large open map PvP game with a smaller group capability than fucking Counter-Strike. Or even a regular MOBA. MOBAs are 5 or 6 players most of the time. And instead, they had 3. And the map was bigger than most MOBAs. I genuinely don't know what they were thinking. I genuinely have no idea. It almost reads to me like they had a bunch of assets from a whole bunch of previously canceled games and were slamming them together to make a game. Still had zest to it on release. I played it on release. The game was still good. Was it great? Did it have infinite amounts of bugs? Fuck yeah, dude. I enjoyed every minute of that game, though. But I can't even say that Highguard was ever overhyped because most of the direction pointed out was already hate. Bitch ass game devs should have made Titanfall 3 like the gamers wanted. Yep. 100%. 100 fucking percent. From the developers of Titanfall and Apex Legends. Okay, like who? The janitor? Why, you didn't buy our game and now I'm throwing the toys out and lashing out at players? And why? Yeah, because that'll totally work, my dude. I played multiple games, only got to ult with 2 characters, the tutorial one and Mara. Ugh. Ugh. Oh yeah, buggy games can absolutely be fun. The thing is though, is I'm not talking about Highguard being buggy. I'm talking about Highguard being boring. And like between the just hodgepodge of effects and styles and stuff, it felt lazy and half felt like it was just, again, like I said, it felt like it was a bunch of stuff just slammed together that they were like, all right, guys, we have all these assets from like canceled games from the parent studio. So like, and they want us to make something with them. Well, when do we make a multiplayer hero shooter? There's a lot of character models in here. Keith, I like your ideas. Now please go clean the 3rd story bathroom. It has no idea what's trying to be correct. And they did the usual thing that like so many marketing companies do, which is they do the thing where they're like, they try to oversell it in the case of like how they advertised at the Game Awards with like, what was it? A new kind of, I forget the words they used. Like a fresh taste on the hero shooter genre and all this other stuff. Goodness. Okay. Go take the high guard and leave? You're banished? From Optimus Prime? What is that a reference to? It's okay to call it half-ass slop. I don't even know if that's what it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Transformers 1, I have not seen the movie in its entirety. But is that when he kicks out Megatron? Is that when he kicks out Megatron at the end of the movie? I'm only guessing. Especially considering you call him Optimus Prime, so it's after the big climax. The moment I typed something about mean about Tinson, my internet crashed. That's crazy. I don't know if it's worse than slop. It definitely feels lazy. It definitely feels uninspired. And it just feels generic. Like it screams Unreal Engine to me, or like it was developed by a bunch of people whose entire focus is like, but look at the graphics. No, we're not talking about Transformers 1 Light. Shut up. We're talking about High Guard for a minute. I don't know if it's worse than slop. I don't know if you can consider it slop. Maybe it's slop. Maybe. But I very much consider asset flip games to be slop in my eyes. I don't think theirs were like necessary asset flips. They weren't like public assets, if that makes sense, for my idea that it was a hodgepodge of assets from canceled games. They didn't have a single outsider to try the game to tell them the problems. I mean, they probably have, what are they called? Kleenex testers, I think is the term that some companies use, which is you basically bring in an outside tester to come in, play the game, get their opinion, and then kick them out. They come in, they get to play the game once, you get their opinion from playing it once, and then they're gone, they never come back. You don't use them again. So they don't have a like comparative experience for the game to talk about. No, beta testers is not it. Kleenex is more specific. You also usually get older builds. Plus, not every game goes into beta. Cyberpunk never hit beta. It went into release. They did all their testing in-house. They didn't do that either. Nobody played it before. Well, no, Jeff Keighley said he played it. Is it they use assets for Titanfall 3 and High Guard? No, Crow. Because they're not making Titanfall 3. They're not. They said years ago that they weren't making it because of the success of Apex Legends. They wanted to put all of those assets in use and like employees into Apex Legends. They just release these bugs. Yeah, sometimes. Usually. That's why day one patches exist. Hello, hi, Angel Cake. How are you doing? All right, let me put the music away. All right. And we were going... Oh, wait a second. Vending machine with a pug on it. Oh, it's all the soups. All the soups and the drinks. All right. Going back. Hold on, what's this way? Sold, vending machine. Snack. Give spirit, please, thank you. Oh, hey, buddy, you trying to get a ticket? Are you saying they're allergic to money? Which people? Which people are you asking if they're allergic to money?
Is a manacle, an encumbrance. Indeed, the flesh twists the soul into grotesquerie for unknown and unjust ends.
Yes, sir. We get it. We get it. You want everybody to abandon flesh. Whatever you say, Mechanicus. Oh, hey.
But it doesn't have to be this way.
Wait, why is the marker up there?
Heed my call and forsake your corporeal shells. Come and gather unto
That was weird. Why did I just hear a sound that sounded like myself hitting my keyboard? That was strange. Oh, god damn it, why did it reset? That was weird, but okay. And of course, go check the nooks and crannies. Give me all those. Alright, Chand, we gotta go do the important thing, which is, of course, go search the bathrooms. Hello? Oh my god, he got raptured with his pants down. Nothing? Darn it. Thing is, though, is the lights are flickering, which usually means... No. There's a lot of things in this family bathroom. What the hell is all this? Alright, baby holder. That doesn't seem like a urinal, but I guess it is. Hand dryer, obviously. What are you? Butt washer? Hello? Okay. Do you think they actually mapped the Shibuya Underground like 1-to-1? Chance? That would be really fucking cool. Photo booth? Well, I found money, but not great. All right, let's go back. I wish I was raptured with my pants down, Sag. Y'all a special kind of freak, aren't you? Is it all the way over here? Oh no, it reset. Shit. Okay. Insane enough to map Shibuya of all places? I mean, there has to be a map, right?
Trail's gone cold again.
Keep going that way. Might be able to pick it back up.
Hey, buddy. You're having a...
It's too close.
Damn it. Wait a second. Wait, how many do I have right now? Oh, we're only at 9. We're fine. Oh, I don't like the dark understore.
No people.
Think fast.
Just like everywhere else. Yeah, next!
All right, give me that. Turbo student. Turbo student. We're in my KK reporting a mysterious student running along a highway. Wait a minute. What's that one anime that everybody's been liking recently? About the aliens and the yokai and shit. is notoriously complex. You still get lost with a map. Oh, I'm sure. But I mean, like the major places, the like subway station and stuff, not counting these like shops and stuff. Also, hold on. Do we have any skill points right now? Jesus, we got 30 skill points. Okay, hold on. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. You know what? Actually, we haven't really leveled up much of... We'll get one here just so that we can carry more consumables, even though it's not too big of a deal. Small chance to do... Okay. And speed boost? Oh, fire's faster. Okay. You know what? Why not? Why not?
Feel like I could take on the world.
Let's do it the fun way then.
Fire away!
Hey, get ready to fight.
Bitch.
Feeling good.
Okay. Kitty! Right, hold on. This is important. Little family marts. Please and thank you. You never know the things that they're gonna hide in here. Actually, we'll get all of those. Ah, nothing special. Okay.
I hate waiting for people to shop.
Oh, boo-hoo.
All you do is complain, mister. Was that? Oh. I heard the cats.
Wonder what this is.
Is it a keychain? Oh, it's a keychain of the lantern yokai. Do tongues have something to say about her health? That's a interesting tagline. Spirit gun. Oh my god, it's... Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? Okay then. I don't want to stay on the tracks.
I've never walked on subway tracks before.
I've had to do it sometimes for work.
As a guard dog?
Not that. Did it when I was hunting monsters.
Okay, but how often do you hunt monsters? Hello? Ooh.
More of this stuff.
They're rolling out the red carpet for us.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I really wish they wouldn't.
Go sashimi. Oh, y'all are really making sushi tempting. Oh, I see you. Wink. Who wants nether green tea? Cute little wooden style. Hello? Horrors beyond my comprehension. Oh, shit. Oh, hey. That's usually good. Recording left by certain scientists discussing his daughter. Oh, no. Certain scientists, you say? And vanished shrimp sushi. No! Is there some anime opening that looks like this? Doesn't part of the, like, Dragon Maid anime have an opening that looks like this? I swear it does. Hello?
Didn't expect to find this right under Shibuya.
And nobody ever noticed?
To avoid detection, they've been working in secret, slinking around below the city.
I mean,
Just
it
like
is a
monsters.
cistern. Hello. Blue
Must have a
stone.
purpose.
Nothing? What is that? Hold on. I thought that was a utility thing, but it didn't say anything. Rain Slasher. Deep enmity that grows from personal conflicts in the workplace. The creature wields a profound resentment as a deadly weapon, which is used to strike out at the living. Student of Pain. Oh, the Forlorn. They're not directly combative. When frightened, they summon other visitors to aid them in their fleeing. Okay. It's not going to be the food stuff. Bluestone. Randomly picked up this strange blue stone. If you look at it closely, it seems to glow from within. Doesn't seem to be naturally occurring, but it also doesn't show any signs of being industrially modified. When shaken, it makes a rattling noise. They say that sunstones have special powers, so it couldn't hurt to just hold on to it. Huh. I wonder if it gives, like a passive effect? It's us that we were a crow now. Wait, what are you? Oh, it's a sack of hats. Wink. Okay. Also, I'm having sharp pain in my stomach for some reason. Am I dying? Is this it? Am I about to die on Twitch.tv? Oh my god.
Do you think he's here?
With any luck. Wait. You feel that?
Oh, why are we like this? That was my wind power.
Must be guarding the place.
Oh my god.
This time we're on the right track. Let's make him talk.
Fucking Christ. Ogre! Oh boy. Hi, buddy. That's my power. You can't do that.
What is this?
Don't worry about it. Get your face on.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and deflect. I'll wink.
This thing bites just like us.
Keep your guard up. It's more agile than it looks.
I know.
Just keep hammering into him. Oh.
What's that?
I guess it's coming from that thing.
It usually doesn't work the first time, I'm pretty sure. Also, I just rizzed how low my health is. Okay. I can't move. Getting Death Stranding vibes? Death Stranding has this game vibes. This game is older.
Well, that was a pain in the ass.
Are Sushimen Takasatsu hero? No.
Oh, shit.
What? What's wrong?
It's him. It's himself.
Does that son of a bitch have no shame?
Stop a second! What's going on?
Just back off!
What? Why are we fighting?
Because that's me! He made this monstrosity out of my body!
What? KK?
What do you want from me? I can't kill myself!
Are you sure?
No! I'm taking it back!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. Not got the mushroom powder.
Give
This sushi is really talented.
back my body!
It's technically sweet shrimp sashimi. Uh-oh. Shit. Triple shit. They took my fucking spirit pet.
Akito? You forgot again.
I didn't forget shit.
Mom died 2 years ago today.
Okay, but who celebrates the anniversary?
You never visited
Do you want
Dad's
to remember,
grave when
or are
it was
you
his
forced to
time
remember the
either.
anniversary of a death?
Are you just running away again? Nothing's gonna change if you won't face it.
Okay.
I'm not running.
It's called grief. Everybody grieves in different ways.
You don't get it.
What does not facing it have to do? Is it just not going to the grave? What's the problem? No, my sushi! It's on the ground! Shit. Come on, get up, sashimi. Not gonna lie though, I still kind of like the details of this costume. Chat, if you got me this costume, I would wear it for stream. Y'all want a cosplay stream? I'll give you a cosplay stream. 5-second rule? We were definitely on the ground longer than 5 seconds.
He got ripped out of me?
Find this actual costume.
Why am I still...
Neat's not the neat hectic.
So
Hollow, what's with the smug? Listen, if you can find this costume, I will wear the also, where did these powers come from? They never actually specify, to my knowledge, how like KK had these powers and then how we could use them.
Powers. KK.
Like, is it not just like knowledge or something?
Everything.
Is it something else?
Now what?
We got Sushi Marin before first. You were always gonna get Sushi Marin before first, Suit Marin.
How will I find her?
For recording and highlights of my wedding? Woo, I'm so sorry, Beef. Hand on shoulder. That's a wedding, bud.
Gotta get back.
Oh my god, you can't even see his face. And then we have this
Can't
shit.
fight them head on without KK's powers.
Yeah. Any action that relies on spiritual energy are severely limited. Akko will be unable to perform ethereal weaving techniques in combat. Some other movements and investigative abilities become similarly unusable. However, Akito won't be left totally defenseless when working solo in the streets of Shibuya. He can still make use of items, absorb spirits with Katashiro, and use his bow and arrows as well as quick purge to defeat visitors, among a few other things. Okay. You know what we haven't done this whole time is a hard save. Oh, that's our level. Duh. So... yeah, the highest level I've ever been is 44, it looks like. But I'm gonna call it fair, chat. This is actually a really good stopping point. Pretty good cliffhanger. Pretty good cliffhanger. For next week. Hell yeah. Damn, no hard saves, only soft saves. It's only auto saves. Also, I got sneeze. Okay. Next week with no power. Yep, we'll be kicking off next week with no power, and we have to escape the sewer that is now full of yokai. I'm sure that'll go fine. Get your raid messages, shuffle out single file. That's one way to put it. But we need to find somebody to raid, you guys. Do we want to use that one or do we want to do a different one? Let me see. Who's live? And is anybody doing anything spooky? Anything spooky? No, I do not count Mugenics, even though I do not understand that game at all. The Dark Occult? I have no idea what that is, but Geronimo Kiddo is playing it. It looks spooky. Somebody named Zuan that I follow was doing Reanimal, but we're going to be doing Reanimal Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. So I don't really want to throw y'all in there for any extra spoilers. We're here to fist for sushi. That's it. That's the one. That's the one. That's the raid message. Crime Brulee is out today. Next week, Shrimp Flyer Tokyo. Will Baron survive without KK's spirit gun? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Oh no, Diablo 2. Oh no, people are playing Warlock. The game for VTubers? Neverness to Everness? What the fuck is that? Nothing's jumping out of me besides... Yeah, it looks like the horror game of the week is currently Reanimal in terms of what everybody's actually playing. I think we're gonna raid Geronimo. But actually, hold on, let me check something else. What are we doing the rest of the week? So tomorrow is going to be Where Winds Meet. If you are interested in Where Winds Meet, I will be showing it off tomorrow. Or if you really like free wuxia games, you can pick it up in the panel down below. It does support the carnival. You do not have to pay a penny. All you have to do is join the game. And then as you progress, you support the carnival more as it goes along. All the way up to level 50. Every 10 levels is another little boost to help support the carnival. So if you like Chinese martial art games or anything, or even just manhwa and you've never played a Chinese martial art game, it's gonna be sick. I am probably gonna show off the character creation tomorrow at least, and then probably show off my character, which is above level 50, which above the level that is the highest for the sponsorship. So you will get to see some of the middle game stuff because I am not actually at in-game. But let's see, is there anybody big doing anything interesting? Probably not. Because they all play the same game. Actually, Cammy is currently playing Phasmophobia with a collab. I was gonna say, the big people that I follow don't usually play spooky games. Unless it's like Halloween. All right, yeah, we're gonna raid Cammy instead. Because they're doing Phasmophobia, and I kind of want to show off that we are here to fish for sushi, because it's a funny as fuck raid message to my mind. All right, chat, I will see you tomorrow, noon CST, for the sponsored stream. Come hang out, come throw some shenanigans around, come play a free MMO. I think it's going to be fun. I will see you tomorrow. Good night and happy Mardi Gras.